Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Monday, September 13th, 2021. This is the Super Organizer Show with James Lott Jr., and I am James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you with me. We took last week off because I don't labor on Labor Day. Exactly. So I took that off. Exactly right. I don't labor on a Labor Day. So I took it off. I relaxed. I watched some documentaries and I ate some food. That's what I did last Monday. But we are back with new episodes. We have a person who created a space for Black women who professionally organize. It's called Black Girls Who Organize. And we're going to talk about that. She created it, and it's a wonderful idea. She's in my favorite area, the DC area. I love the DC area. I love the chocolate.
Oh, good.
Love it over there. She has Divine Order for You LLC is her actual company. She's an organizer. And she's very active on social media. I was looking at her pages and stuff. She's out there trying to empower people to get organized. Dalys Macon. How are you, Dalys?
I am well, James. Thank you so much for having me. I don't take it lightly, so I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Now, before we start, as I always do, and I've been doing for the last 6 years of doing this show, over 350 episodes. I know I've been doing it for a long time, girl. So I do my thanks and gratitude. I believe you should always live in gratitude and give thanks. Of course, I give thanks to God every day for waking me up. So thank you very much for that. But also, I want to give my gratitude and my thanks, my hearts, my prayers to anyone who lost someone during September 11th. It just passed this weekend. I lost a cousin and I lost 13 coworkers from Morgan Stanley and Dean Witter. It was one of the darkest times of my life, professionally and personally. So I want to send it out to everybody out there who's gone through this themselves, who has a connection to anyone that's no longer here with us. Over about 3,000 lives were lost that day. From there, the Pentagon, and also in Pennsylvania. So I give my heart to all the families and people, survivors and friends afterwards. I live in gratitude that we were able to get back to our lives afterwards, come together as a nation. And for many people, have their faith, brothers, whatever it is they brought together. And I hope we get back to that one day again. I liked how we were right after that happened. We were a united front. So I look forward to that. That's my thanks and gratitude for today. And it was also Grandparents' Day yesterday. And I'm a grandfather of 4. So shout out to my grandchildren, Rylan, Scarlett, Zayden, and little Trenton. I love you very much. So there you go.
Wow. So congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Being grandfather is fun. It's a lot of fun. I'll tell you. I didn't expect it so early, but I like it. It's a lot of fun.
Good.
But this is all about you, girls. It's all about Dalys. It's all about you. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm well. Blessed and highly favored. So I'm well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get the bell for that one. That's right. yes. So because, during this pandemic, for some people, it actually helped them out. For some people, some of us, we did survive professionally and found ways to cope and work through it. So I'm assuming for you too, because at first it was a shock last year. We all had to kind of stop for a second and figure out what was going on.
Right.
How was navigating the pandemic for you so far?
Well, for me, the pandemic and the new normal for most has been my normal, because I also work as a government contractor in IT, project management, and I've been doing telework for the last 5 years. So the new normal for everyone was my normal. Yeah. So I think it has been great for me. What I like the most is that I've taken the time to really appreciate what really matters. And just little things, the quiet times, the walk-in outdoors, and having my family around and spending more time. I have 2 young men, 20 and 24. And we've done a lot as a family, more so than we've done in recent years. So for me, it has been wonderful.
Yeah, it was a reset button. It was a reset button of sorts. We had a chance to get to know each other a little again.
Absolutely.
My brother and I, we share this house, and normally I'm always out and about and doing all this stuff. And then last year I was home, and so we got to know each other a little more. And we're both only 3 years apart in age, but it's like we got reacquainted a little bit. Like, yes. Okay, I kind of got it. Also, I had a lot of clients find out what their houses were really like because they were
absolutely.
But it was your experience.
So where we thought that we were not going to be able to work, I mean, virtual organizing, we found ways to pivot. Virtual organizing became a real thing. And again, because people are in their homes more, they realize, I don't really want to live like this. So it has benefited the business in that sense that we're more and more able to assist others to live a simplified life, which is one of my goals, is to live a simplified life.
Her tagline is organized, simplified, and styled.
And styled.
So what is that? I mean, I know what organized means, obviously, but what does simplified and style mean for you?
So for me, it came about because I grew up in a very stylish and creative home. My mom was a seamstress and my dad was an artist. Having both of those very creative minds in our home, fashion was always at the forefront. Our home decor was always at the forefront. So that's a passion for me. So I've had an ability now to take those things and marry it in my organization, because I've been organized as a teen. I've been doing it for family and friends since my teen years. I stumbled on organizing in 2004, about when I stumbled on Julie Morgenstern's book, Organizing from the Inside Out.
That was me too.
Yes.
That was me too.
Oh, wow. So yes, that still remains one of my favorites.
I too.
And I took a class with NAPO in 2005. But my boys were young, and just the whole thought of being a business owner was intimidating to me at the time. And I put it on the back burner. So fast forward to 2012, I took another class, and then my friend asked me, a friend says, look, you've been doing this for so long for your family and for friends for free all these years. It's time for you to push it forward.
Get paid. Time for you to
get paid. So she hired me. One of my closest friends, Ilka Chavez, hired me to come in and organize her space for her. And I kind of still lingered. And finally, in 2018, I decided to get licensed and launched in January 2019.
Well, are you a member of NAPO?
Yes, I'm a NAPO member. I'm a member of NAPPO as well.
Yeah, yes, then, also, yes, that's exactly, yes.
Yes, so that's where I heard you speak.
Yes, you heard me and my crazy self coming in there.
Yes,
my energy. No, okay, so started. So Julie Morgan, that book was my entry into it also in 2008.
Wow.
So that book got around, folks. That book gets around. I have it still. Yeah. I have a book in my bookshelf. It's still
I still have mine, yes.
That's so funny. No, that book, I mean, okay, so I didn't know there was a business. I didn't know it was an industry. Because back then, especially, there were no TV shows like that. There was Clean House and maybe another one, a Clean Sweep or whatever. Right. They didn't talk professional organizing. It was just like they were cleaning stuff up, whatever. It wasn't until local orders came about, and that happened later. But yeah, we did back in 2004. You didn't know it was a business. I mean, it was kind of like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Now I didn't know there were Black folks in the business until recently. That's how sad I am. I've been in business for 12 years, and I didn't meet a Black person until 2-3 years ago.
Right. And that's what started my whole quest for Black girls who organize. Because, fast forward 15 years later, and I'm here and I'm still not seeing us. And I'm like, look, I live in Chocolate City, outside of Chocolate City. So if there are no Blacks, if there are Blacks anywhere else that are doing what I'm doing or interested in, they have to be some in the area. Yeah. So I set out to try to find Black professional organizers in this area. And within a week, I think I found 3. Yeah, okay. I contacted them and asked them if they were interested in a meetup. And we did. And I learned so much from those ladies in an hour and a half that I had reading books and magazines for years on professional organizing. So Lord just laid it on my heart to do something where I could pay it forward and give back to other women and other organizers that were out there that didn't have the information. And that's how Black Girls Who Organize came to be.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you did that, and congratulations to you with that, because for me, I mean, I learned a lot from my white counterparts in business. I have a lot of great friends in there and everything. I was part of NAPO for 6 years, so I know all that stuff. But there are certain things that are specific to us,
Right.
And that, you know, and that also means also things specific to Latinos, specific to Asians.
Correct.
That
Correct.
they're just are non-white.
Correct.
Last you guys came into my purview last year when I started doing speaking engagements on Facebook and stuff to organizing groups, and I saw Black folks in there. And I was like, who are you? I see little thumbnails. Who are you? What's going on? Where are you?
Right.
And some of them would contact me after, like, I love what you said, totally agree with you. Like, I started bringing some on to the show because I felt like, and I reached out to you, I reached out to you guys also on NAPO, I reached out to them too, saying, hi, I want folks who are of color, especially Black folks, who are organizing. Let's talk about the sameness that we're just like everybody else, but also some of the differences.
Correct.
We encounter. And that's why I reached out because I want to know that. So, I mean, it's, you know, I was telling somebody the other day, I mean, when you first start, a lot of Black organizers are like, should I put my face on my cards or my website? Right. These are unique things that others don't think about, right?
Correct. So that's how Black Girls Who Organize really came about. It was just a chance meeting. And my goal then was to just feature one young lady per month for a year. I've said I was challenging myself to meet 12 ladies, right? I didn't even know NABPO existed. Well, to date, I have identified over 140 Black girls who organize, some Latinos. I even had a Filipino, other minorities too, but the majority, over 125 Black women who organize. So what I just thought was going to be a little, just do this and move on, has become a whole big thing because, of course, I launched January of 2020. And by March, when the whole Black Lives Matter movement, timing was everything. So here we are today.
Oh, the timing was everything. I think you started at the right time.
Yes.
Always needed, but right. Especially last year. And I know personally a lot of folks separated from some of the other organizations they're a part of and came to you. I know they did, because I know a few that they literally like, I'm done with them, I'm going over here. Where we feel more included, more listened to, recognized. You know, again, I feel like color doesn't preclude if you can be an organizer or not. Anybody can be an organizer.
Correct.
You know, that's your color. But again,
neither does gender.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because I get blowback all the time because I'm a man. I'm a man. Men are actually less in the business than women. There's not a lot, as many of us as are women. Women start the industry. It's mostly women. It's mostly white women, if you think about it. It's mostly
white women, yes.
But it's mostly women. And so when I came into it, I'm all happy, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I'm happy. I'm like, I love women. I have no problem with women being in charge. But I've gotten some blowback for being a man all the time, and being a Black man, I'd say that's another thing there too. I've had some Black women give me blowback because I'm a man, and I'm like, we're all the same though. We're all Black. We're Black. That's
right. Right. Well, you continue doing what you're doing.
I'm doing it, girl. Now you're a Black Panamanian.
Yes, so yo hablo español.
Yeah, well, I love that. Stop yet. I love that.
Yes. So I've also done some things with some of the Hispanic community as well. You know, Hispanic Heritage Month, and I've also been featured doing that as well. So it's been wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful for me. And then I think I represent more of a senior community because
that's your girl. I understand it, girl.
Yeah. So I was like, what was I thinking to do this and launch this well into my 50s? But I'm here and I'm doing it and I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish.
Like I said before, Black don't crack, folks. I'm in my 50s. I'm like, I mean, we look great. But we are like the elder statespeople now. I always use the village analogy. We're part of the village. So now we're here to bring up and lift up the rest of
Absolutely. So that's where it seems like I'm moving, where I'm going to be doing more speaking, more mentoring type thing, because I know I don't have any idea that I will be lifting a whole lot of heavy boxes and moving a lot of stuff around for too much longer.
Same here.
But I've actually really enjoyed it. So I know one of your questions you asked was, what are my favorite spaces? And I love organizing closets and colorful spaces because of my background. It's a natural for me.
Yeah.
I love playing with the clothing, and I've done like some jewelry studios, in-home businesses, that type stuff, because I love playing with color. So.
Yeah, no, okay, don't answer your question, because I used to be a merchandiser. I used to have.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah, I did it for retail for years. Okay, so for you, do you want to pull together, James? I got excited all of a sudden. Do you? I love this kind of talk. Okay, so this is very specific, folks. So we're going to the
absolutely.
Do you organize by color scheme? A lot of times?
Yes, yes, I do. I try to encourage people to do that, and I tell you why. One, because I focus in on colors that works for you. I'm really, I guess it's a gift. I didn't realize it, but I'm very good with coordinating colors and helping folks identify. So beyond you selecting what you really love, I also try to move folks out of their comfort zone to colors that they wouldn't necessarily think about, but I can tell will work for them. So I do the seasonal color analysis. Okay. And in doing that, the benefit of that is that it makes it easier to part with colors that are not really suitable for you or don't work as well for you. So that's the reason. My main reason is not, the aesthetics is beautiful and it looks all nice. And I know everyone is into the rainbow colors and, all of that is beautiful, but my purpose goes a lot deeper. One, in that you're able to really have things that you love and enjoy wearing. And two, it also makes it easier when decluttering and simplifying to identify if you have 10 of one item in the same color and you really only have room for 5. It makes it easier to select your favorite 5 and then part with the other 5. If people get to focus on what they really get to keep rather than what they're letting go of, it becomes a more enjoyable experience. So that's what I think I bring to the table a little differently. And that color plays a big part for me in my organizing process.
I like that, what you get to keep rather than what you give away. I mean, I think that's kind of the mindset's everything, obviously, in this game. I tell my clients it's a puzzle and it's mindset. It's kind of like shifting your brain to thinking away maybe you're not used to, because people are afraid to give stuff away. People are afraid to let go of something for whatever reason. There's a million reasons behind that, but they are. So you got to let them know that sometimes the giving away or letting go of something is good for you. It's not it's not as automatically bad. It always has a bad connotation, like you're going to clear out my stuff. Like, well, that's not just that. We're going to actually make sure there's room for stuff you will use.
Right. You're making room for what truly represents you now, right? Living your best life now, not what you were, what you could be. People hold on to 2-3 sizes smaller than what they really are.
Yes.
Just in case. I call it the just in case clothing.
Me too, just in case.
Yeah. So, we have to get to a point where we can't hold on to half our closet is just in case. So have it really represent who you truly are and where you're going. So that is my angle.
I agree with that completely. It's always adjusted. Well, I may go skiing. Like, have you gone skiing in 10 years? You haven't.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to go scuba diving in 15. No, then why do you have all this scuba gear? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, let's work it out. And I always feel too, someone else could really use your stuff.
Absolutely.
Really needs it.
Bless someone else.
Yes.
Yes.
First of all, I love your shirts. Make sure I say that. I love.
Thank you.
Your shirts. I had shirts at one point. I don't know where they are now, but I like your shirt. All right. So divine order for you. When they come to you, what is it? What are they getting when they hire Dalys? What are they getting?
I believe you're. First of all, empathy, because I think that's a key ingredient that I've unfortunately seen some organizers, I believe, don't show enough of.
Yeah, I agree.
So empathy, a judge-free zone.
Yes.
And everyone thinks their area is the absolute worst, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, everyone, you know, so it's about developing a relationship. And I tell them, once we speak, if you don't feel comfortable or you don't think I'm the right match for you, I'm okay with that. I can always refer you to a host of other people. But when I come into your space, my goal is not only to organize your space, but to teach you how to maintain it. Because organizing is not a one and done event. You have to be able to maintain it once I walk out that door. And if you're calling me to organize the same space over and over again, then I feel I failed. Right? So I know things happen and sometimes we get behind in certain areas. That is life. You know, life happens.
Yeah.
But we should not be back to ground zero, literally trying to do that whole process again. It should be a maintenance or a refresher at that point.
Yeah.
So my goal is to teach you.
Yeah. Well, I'll say the piggyback off of you, it should be where the setup is still there. It's just
correct.
Messy. It's just messy.
Right.
So that when we're putting it back together, it's super simple. You're like, oh yeah,
exactly.
Everything's the place it's
I remember.
Yes.
Yes.
It's all set up. Yeah.
So putting systems in place. So one of the my favorite space that I did was a in-home jewelry. A young lady does custom bead.
Oh, wow.
And I did her space, and then she moved to a larger space within her home. And she literally was able to take everything. You would not know that was not the space that I did originally, because she understood, she got it.
Yeah.
And you can tell when the light bulb goes off, right?
Yeah.
And she really got it to the point that she was able to recreate that space in a totally different area of her room. That, like, for lack of a better word, sparks joy for me.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to go in and create a way of life. So that's what you get with Divine Order, is implementing and showing you how to live, first of all, organized, but simplified, right? It's also my goal to simplify your space. People make it too complicated, and it's not intended to be. So my simplification comes from the spiritual principle of organization, because it's God's plan to simplify our lives. So I always want to implement that. And then, of course, style, because I want to make it unique to you.
I love that. You're hired.
Thank you.
No, I love that too. And I always, and in my wording, I always talk about being, non-judgmental, and also I work specifically to your needs. You tell me what you want, this is we can make it happen, because everybody's different. You know, one size does not fit all. I mean, it's like you just
absolutely. And I tell people, you can go on Pinterest and you can Google stuff to get ideas, but that's not the cookie cutter for you. We need to take those ideas and bring it together to tailor to you and your family. Because a lot of times too, maybe because we're contacted by the woman in a household, and then we're catering everything to her, but there are 3 or 4 other persons living in the home. So I take the time to speak to them as well and find out some of their interests so that it can work for a family.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, of course. Were you always a go-getter? Were you always that person, like you say, you start a group?
I believe so, but it's really interesting, because I am, but I'm also kind of a behind the scene person. Like, this whole video and live chat and everything is, trust me, way out of my comfort zone. Okay. It's taken me almost 2 years to get to this point. Wow. But I've always been very driven. I think that's the best word for me. And everything that I did, I was always, from a little girl, I was always very driven and very focused. So that's why, even though I came from a creative home, I've succeeded in anything that requires a lot of order. Even in my job, what I do is I organize the changes in the development to software, right? Tracking the software requirements through the execution of it. Yeah. And all of that requires working with different individuals behind the scenes. So I'm more of a behind the scene person. I am very much a doer.
Yeah, I'm a doer. I'm a doer too. I love being doers. I think it's,
Yes.
I've always been that way too. Just always highly motivated. I guess it's always whatever industry I was in, whatever I did. I said at merchandising, it's funny because we had diagrams and things and colors and certain outfits and all stuff. But I like the color thing. I did my own closet that way recently. I was like, I don't do it by color right now. I was doing it by season. Now I'm like, no, do it by color because in LA it's the same season all year long basically.
Yes.
So I was like, I want to do it by color, and I like it that way. It also lets you know how much of what color you have of something. It's very
absolutely, and it saves time too. When you're getting dressed and you're looking for that blue shirt, you're not sorting through 20 clothes looking for the blue shirt. You're going to the blue section. So it just makes life so much easier.
Well, I always make the joke that organizers are the laziest people. That's always my joke. And it's meant to be chic that we make systems easy for us so that it is literally a no-brainer. And like I said, just this is where the spoons go. This is where this goes. But it's like completely
exactly.
It should be just second nature, easy breezy. Because you don't want to spend an average of 17 minutes looking for something. 17 minutes I would do something totally different than looking for a spoon.
Correct.
Or glasses or whatever. Actually, I didn't know my glasses are right now. Or scissors. I think it's always like scissors or something. Like there's always something small that will take your time up. Your keys to your car, your keys, and you're late to work, and then you're in a bad mood because you're late. It just being organized really does help. It's a ripple effect. It helps a lot.
Absolutely, and I think that's probably another reason why closets are my favorite, because you have to get dressed, wardrobe, right?
Oh yeah,
and that can make or break the day.
Yeah,
because if you don't start right, you don't feel good about what you're wearing and what you have, then that kind of has the ripple effect, like you mentioned.
Yeah. As we wrap up, what would you say to younger Black, Hispanic, Latina, professional organizers? What is one thing you would say to them?
Just do it. Okay. The other side of the coin as organizers is where we tend to be perfectionists a lot of times, and we think everything has to be aligned just right. I started, and I'm not ashamed to say, I launched my business at the age of 55. So at that stage, I was like, most people would have been like, no, so I did it. I didn't have a website. I didn't have an IG platform. I didn't have an IG account, so you learn, just do it. Don't sit there and wait for perfectionism to be able to have everything, because no matter where and when you start, there are going to be changes. I started out trying to do every organizing job because you want to be employed. You're so excited somebody hire you, but deep down inside, I know I don't want to be doing garages and basements. So
right.
It took me to do a few to say, okay, that's not for me. So it's something, and then I did a website, but then later I was like, this website is too complicated. Who's going to read all this stuff? So a year later, I was revamping it. So, it's never really a perfect thing. It's just something you have to get in there and do it, and you figure it out and network with your Black organizers, white organizers, everyone. Have those conversations and reach out. So it's my hope that Black Girls Who Organize continues to provide that platform where each one can reach one, and move it forward.
I love that. Tell people where they can find Black Girls Who Organize. Somebody can find that.
So Black Girls Who Organize is strictly on Instagram, and it's Black Girls Who Organize on IG. And I do bi-weekly features, spotlights, I like to call it, where you get a quick rundown of the organizers, their location. We featured ladies internationally and stateside. And then for my business is Divine Order for You. And that's on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and my website. So Divine Order for You.
Yes, I'll put them all in the description. Everybody can follow them. But she's everywhere, kids. She's everywhere. I see her. I follow her everywhere. She's everywhere. She's on there.
The only thing I'm not doing, I'm going to leave that up to you or the podcast.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's fine. You can be a podcast speaker and guest on people's podcasts. That's what you can. That can be your thing.
Yes, I will continue doing the guest speaking.
Yes, and you'll be back on the show again. You're welcome to the show anytime, so you're back on again.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to having you spotlighted as well. So.
Thank you, Rob. I'm a Black boy organizer, so I'll take it.
Absolutely.
No, it's great what you're doing for our community. So thank you so much for doing that, because a lot of people think it and they don't implement it. So you actually implemented it and gave yourself a challenge and look where it's at, folks. I appreciate that so much. I do.
I also I'm remiss in not mentioning NABPO as well. So I'm also part of the National Association of Black Professional Organizers, and I'm also on there. So I like to also mention them because I didn't know they existed when I started, but it's another great, forum for Black professional organizers. So.
Yes, and I have many of those members coming on to the show too. So you'll see people. You're going to hear. If you didn't hear those acronyms before, you're going to hear it now. More and many of them are coming on. So yes, a shout out to them too for what they're doing for our community too. Sometimes if you don't see it, be it. That's how I say it. If you don't see it, be it. So create it. Yes. So if you don't see it, put it out there. And I reached out to them. I reached out to everybody. That's why we're here, because I want to feature talented people from my community. And when I say my community, it's all over the country. So that's my community.
Awesome.
We're all part of the same village, girl. We're all part of the same
Absolutely.
village.
Absolutely.
That's right. So this is Dalys Macon. She's Divine Order for You. You can follow me, little old me, James Lott Jr. We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. ALottaHelp.com is the website. The Super Organizer is everywhere. It's on TikTok. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter. I'm all over the place. You just type in the SOS show or Super Organizer. You'll find me, or my logo, which is this. This is my logo. Everywhere. I've been around for 12 years, going on 13. My show has been around. It's on every platform. It's been on for over 6 years. We're doing this. I'm one of the longest running shows. So please support us, support her, support our community. Whether you are of color or not, support. We're all part of the same world. So let's lift each other up and do something positive in this world. And also, those of you guys who are not organizers or watch my show and listen to it, I love you guys. Get organized. If you're not organized already, take that leap of faith for yourself. It's for you. Not for us, it's for you. You'll be doing something so good for yourself when you get yourself organized. And we'll see you next week.